December 1940. Europe is burning. The continent has fallen into darkness, and the fate of Western civilization rests on a single battered island in the North Atlantic. Night after night, the sky over Britain fills with fire. German bombers roar overhead as searchlights claw desperately at the clouds. London burns. Coventry disappears in a single night. Liverpool's docks are shattered. Birmingham's factories collapse into twisted steel and smoke. Entire neighborhoods vanish under waves of explosions. Civilians flee through streets, slick with rain and ash, clutching children, gasping for breath, diving into underground tunnels as the earth shakes above them. Britain has survived the Battle of Britain in the skies. But survival has come at a terrible price. This is not just a military assault. It is an attempt to break a nation's will. On the map, Britain still looks powerful. A vast pink empire stretches across continents: Canada, India, Australia, Africa, the Caribbean. Nearly a quarter of the globe still bears the mark of British rule. But maps can lie. They show territory, not strength. They show possession, not endurance. Behind the illusion of imperial grandeur, something far more dangerous is happening. The empire is bleeding. Not only soldiers, not only cities. It is bleeding money, and it is running out. Deep beneath London, behind thick steel doors, the truth is finally spoken. In the underground war rooms of Whitehall, Britain's leaders gather under dim lamps. Maps are covered in pins and red strings, marking losses at sea, bombed cities, and sinking supply lines. The air is heavy. Faces are pale. Voices are low. The generals know the military situation is desperate, but the financiers know something worse. Britain is fighting a modern war with an empty wallet. No speeches can change that. At the center of it all sits Winston Churchill. Publicly, his voice is thunder. His speeches promise defiance, sacrifice, and victory. He tells the nation they will never surrender. Privately, he sits alone. In a cramped underground room, smoke curling from his cigar, papers scattered across his desk, Churchill stares into the dim light. His eyes are heavy. His shoulders sag. Because no matter how strong the words, Britain cannot fight without weapons. And Britain can no longer afford to buy them. The empire that once financed the world is going bankrupt. In December 1940, Churchill begins writing one of the most important letters of his life. His pen scratches slowly across the paper. The destination is Washington. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. This letter is not a speech. It is not a declaration. It is a confession. Churchill must admit that the empire which defeated Napoleon, ruled the seas, and built the modern financial system no longer has the cash to survive. He writes of U-boats strangling Atlantic supply lines, of desperate shortages of aircraft and ammunition, of a treasury nearing exhaustion. Between the lines lies the truth. Britain is insolvent. This collapse did not come from weakness. It came from scale. Before the war, Britain was a financial giant. Gold reserves filled vaults. British capital owned railways in Argentina, mines in Africa, factories in America, and shipping lanes across the globe. London was the heart of global trade, insurance, and banking. But Hitler's war was not like previous wars. This was industrial warfare, consuming steel, oil, rubber, aluminum, food, and fuel at unimaginable speed. And Britain had one fatal flaw. It imported almost everything. To pay America, Britain drains its lifeblood. In total secrecy, under the cover of darkness, British sailors load gold bars onto warships. crates marked Treasury vanish into foggy Atlantic harbors. This operation, known as Operation Fish, moves nearly all of Britain's gold across the ocean. It is the largest movement of physical wealth in human history. Battleships escort the cargo. U-boats lurk below. Every shipment is a gamble. Every crate is survival. By late 1940, the vaults stand empty. Dust settles where gold once lay. Echoes replace abundance. The British Purchasing Commission in Washington stares helplessly at unsigned contracts for planes, tanks, and ammunition. London has no dollars left. Britain has reached the end of the line. When Roosevelt reads Churchill's letter, he understands the danger. If Britain falls, America will stand alone. But Roosevelt is trapped by law and politics. He cannot give Britain money. The public would revolt. Congress would block it. So he finds another way. Lend-Lease. Publicly, he explains it simply. If your neighbor's house is on fire, you don't sell him a hose. You lend it. It sounds generous. It sounds humane. But behind closed doors, the deal is far colder. The negotiations are led by U.S. Treasury Secretary Henry Morgenthau, Jr. He despises fascism, but he protects American taxpayers. Before approving aid, he demands proof that Britain has nothing left. He orders a full audit of the British Empire, every asset, every factory, every overseas investment. This is not diplomacy. It is a financial interrogation. The British protest. Selling assets now would destroy their future. Morgenthau refuses. If Britain still owns wealth, America will not pay its bills. The sacrifice is chosen. American Vice Coast Corporation, America's largest rayon producer, owned by British interests, profitable, powerful. Morgenthau demands its sale. Britain resists. The company is worth over $100 million. Selling it now is financial suicide. But the ultimatum is clear. Sell, or Lend-Lease, dies. In March 1941, Britain seizes and sells the company at a fire sale price. The money goes straight to the U.S. Treasury. Britain absorbs the loss. The lesson is learned. This relationship is transactional. The logic spreads beyond money. Britain needs destroyers to fight U-boats. Roosevelt agrees, but demands payment in geography. In exchange for 50 aging American destroyers, Britain grants 99-year leases on bases across the Atlantic and Caribbean, Newfoundland, Jamaica, Trinidad, the Bahamas. The United States gains control of the Western Hemisphere's defense. Britain trades long-term power for short-term survival. Then comes the shock. August 1945. Japan surrenders. The war ends. 7 days later, Lend-Lease is terminated. Instantly. Ships carrying food to Britain are ordered to turn back mid-ocean. The lifeline is cut without warning. Britain is stunned. Its economy is still built entirely around American aid. Economist John Maynard Keynes sees the numbers and the abyss. Britain is bankrupt. The aftermath is brutal. Britain begs for a loan. It is granted, but with deadly conditions. Sterling must be convertible. Keynes warns it will cause collapse. He is ignored. In 1947, the pound collapses. Reserves vanish. Convertibility is abandoned. By 1949, the pound is devalued by 30%. Living standards collapse. Austerity becomes permanent. The empire unravels. The final payment for the war is made in December 2006, over 60 years later. Britain won the war militarily, but economically, it lost the world. The empire did not fall. It was sold, piece by piece, to survive.